I think about all of those types because those types are all, uh, let's not call it almost bought and paid for, you know, and they avoid anybody that's real, you know, like they know who they should associate with and who, look what happened with Answer and all of them. You know, I was telling Answer, in fact, I told them when they was here, we had one meeting. I said, hey, if y'all want to get hooked up with, meet some real Iraqi ulama, which I knew, you know, they just saying, yeah, that's all right. Because see, they had went over and they was on that depleted uranium thing. They was over there and making, they did some good videos, but I'm saying, so that would make them the authority on that. Anyway, they felt like they was hooked up, that they said, okay, fine, you know. Okay, so anyway, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So today's subject is strategic brilliance. First, I'd like to just ask, how did everybody react to the program yesterday down, the demonstration on Palestine? Was there anything that happened that might catch the eye, or, you know, it seemed like it was worthwhile, if I could use that?
I'd call it, I hate to say it, but I'd call it a publicity stunt.
A publicity stunt.
That's the word
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm with you on that, brother. I mean, it was like, now remember, like, in the process of things being what they are, we make certain forecasts and we make certain, you know, okay. So now, this demonstration that they had here fits into a certain category. Number one, it was ad hoc. They just put it together real quick and rolled everybody out. Okay. And number two, the guy going around passing out remember the little cards, call your congressman and all that? No, that's okay. See, everybody, just let everybody be themselves. There's no message in it. You see what I mean? Okay, there's no discussion, like they don't have discussions like we do. Okay, now here's the movement on Palestine. Here's where it seems to be, you know. And then they start to educate people. Like when we talk about Palestine and Yemen, and we blend into everything together. Now, this is where the historical movement in. This is what made Palestine different. This is what made this year's escapade totally different than the others. In fact, it was a transitional stage into a historical reality. That's why last week when we was talking about Palestine, I said I'll fill in the rest later. That means if that was Tuesday, we're going to wait till Friday or something like that. And then we're going to fill in the rest. Because by the speed that this thing is going at, by the time this is over, they will have the semi-final conclusion would have happened. Okay, now what happened in Palestine, it was very similar to 1986 with Hezbollah, except it wasn't as devastating on the Israelis. But it was very serious. Number one, the Zionists are not going to allow nobody to rush them into no peace and quiet until they get ready. So what they tried to hold off as long as they could, but those missiles was devastating. See, the population of Israel is different. In the 40, in the 50s, 56 war, 67 war, those Israelis then had came out of the traumatic situation in Europe, right? They had came from all the Arab countries, which of course been treating them good, but they were a different breed. Let's call them a pioneer breed. The Israelis that are now there, that are children, adults, and I mean old adults, they're not there for Israel, the homeland, and all of that. They're there for material benefits. And no matter what reason they're there, they can't stand all of that stuff like the old time, Israelis could. Those Israelis might as well be modern Americans or Canadians. Brooklyn, no doubt about it. But not only that, what other generation is, except for this difference with the Arabs, and there's a whole difference between the Ethiopians. Some of the Ethiopians they're trying to send back to Ethiopia, and whatever they are, they might as well, they almost got their Black Lives Matter movement in Israel from the way they being treated. And then you mix up the Yahud, our friends, they won't go in the army, they won't do nothing, right? But read Torah, what they do, that's what they, right? So the government is mad at them. They're trying to pass laws to make them go in the army. Okay? That ain't going to work. Well, whatever it is, it's going to cause a traumatic reaction. So Israel is not the Israel of decades ago, right? So they can't stand, and they trying to tell us about the Iron Dome, whatever they call that thing, that's protecting, it ain't protecting nobody and nothing, right? Most of those missiles, homemade, are getting through. And don't talk about later this year or next month or the next go round if it's one. They will have learned targeting sequences where they don't just shoot them off just to hit wherever. And they have made them longer range. They hitting Tel Aviv and they doing stuff, and they're not going in any Arab neighborhoods. Some kind of way, right? Because remember, the Arab neighborhoods, some of them are a little mixed, but the Arab neighborhoods are Arabs that live there, Israeli Arabs. The internal struggle with the Israeli Arabs, they jumping up and down too, right? They saying, hold it, we're not going for this. You know what I mean? They wanting, the point is this, the whole sequence of what's happening in that part of the world, especially occupied Palestine, is different than the years before. This one is different. We classified this one as similar to the Israeli invasion of Lebanon in 2006, and it's how they dealt with that. This time, Netanyahu trying to talk out the side of his mouth, but hey, them people was on his case. Hey man, just imagine the people are not accustomed to them bombs, zoop, and they can hear them whistling by and hitting down the street. And remember now they kind of honing in. They got longer range. And the numbers of them, if they say there's a whole lot difference between what the Western media says and what the Muslims say. They've sent over. You see what I mean? Whatever it is, the Iron Dome, whatever they call it, the protective, it couldn't protect them. So we're in a different phase of the movement now. But the demonstration yesterday, okay, by the people that had it and by the people that came, it was just a bus ride, and at the bus ride, the people didn't pay their own way. They had them buses. They had them buses at the Masjid. All you got to do is get on and come on up. You see, so you could tell the people were, huh? It was they. Okay, you've been to demonstrations before. There's a certain demonstration focus, like, yeah. They didn't have none of that. They didn't have none of that, and so, therefore, that was the other demonstrations. You could almost tell when they're bussed in, and you could tell there's a difference between, if they're bussed in, that means certain kind of Masjid are sponsoring it, and we could see who was sponsoring it and how it's ran. I mean, they almost was running it so that you couldn't hear anything. If you was right around, wait, hold it, what are you doing? If you're not within 20 feet of the speaker, you don't know what's going on, right?
I didn't know that was where the main events were at. I thought, oh, okay.
Okay, what about putting big speakers up there, at least 2 to cover it? Or you could put 2 speakers up there like ours. That would at least somebody could hear what we're saying. You know what I mean? The point is this. They were in a bind where they needed to get out. They needed to get out. They needed to pretend to be in this, but this is the United States. And so those people that were there, some of them were Palestinian and some of them were, but it wasn't like, it was Nihad in this crew. Nihad's from Palestine too. Yeah, but anyway, there's going to be a benefit from that demonstration, but it's not the benefit that they was looking. They just was looking to get out real quick. You know what I mean? And to tell the truth, the press TV types and the media, all of those, you could tell now who is all linking. You can see the whole crew by the platform. Yeah, by the way it's organized. It was ad hoc, let's get somebody out, we'll get it on the press TV, because as soon as I push the button, there it is, okay? And what they were showing on press TV was not what we were seeing. You see what I mean? Yeah, you would think it was Mark Bog America Day. Yeah, man. No. I'm saying, look, it's not even uncomfortable being on the right road. Sometimes telling the truth, you know what I mean, and having a whole system on your case. Now, I'm just saying about myself. It's not uncomfortable being correct and being on the right focus on this. I haven't been doing it so long. Now I'm used to it. Now I imagine anybody else is kind of new to this might be adjusting to it. They might be adjusting to this this new environment. But we've been here, let's see, we've been here and we've been doing this for so long that it becomes second nature. It is second nature, and it's good. I was looking for a few little, let me see what I got here. I got a couple little things from way back when, and it gives kind of an idea. Let's see. Muslim African Americans Past, Present, and Potential. That's one of the magazines that when the chief passed away, they put him in one of their magazines. That's Imam Warathdin Muhammad. Excuse the lines and everything, but the printer was messing up a little bit. Okay, so that's the chief. This is over a decade old. 2011, yes, sure. Forum posted, provocateurs posing today as Oakland Liberation Front. You know, that we showed these 10 years ago when it was new. But this is from the internet, and it was, the brothers out there did their, the last two photographs tell me that there are rogue elements in Occupy Oakland or agent provocateurs. Now, I know this is true because when Oscar Grant was killed in Oakland, I think he's the guy they had him down. He was on a train and they just shot him. He's on the ground, man. And the police shot him. So they changed the name, the plaza, to Oscar Grant. Now, at those demonstrations, when they first happened, it's people that came by here. They're on the radio out there, and when Malcolm was coming through here, they had a group of the Shias that was, I ain't gonna blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so what was happening was, when I came to, when I said a little while ago that I was at a demonstration and Frida Drungo's mother was there, well, one of the guys that was here, he's linked with Hashim, he's linked with all of that crew. They're the same ones that when we were getting big gravy and input from the assassination of Oscar Grant, they're the ones that run downtown, burning stuff. You know, like when you get the news on your side, if you go out and burn something down, then you lose that benefit. They'll switch it. They'll say, thank the Lord,